If you are Indonesian, you should say louder that you are Indonesian. Greetings, culture of salutations. Ladies and gentlemen, with the founding of my speech here, I would like to make all of us think about one thing. Are we sure we all have our own Indonesian identity, or actually, our own identity is from a foreign country? Our existence, or our existence, does it really indicate that our identity is Indonesian? We have recently been plagued by quite alarming bad news from earlier years. There is a common threat revealed by a coordinator of the UNESCO Office Specialist Program at a press conference training and cultural heritage education for Indonesian youth. He said that pride and concern from preserving the culture are underpinned in today's youth in Indonesia. He carefully related that their interest in studying them was less. They were more interested in learning about foreign cultures, whereas Indonesia has 7 cultural heritage sites, 3 of which are the cultural heritage of a world so rich. So, what is Indonesian heritage culture? The Indonesian heritage culture is all that remains of cultures that have significant historical, scientific, and technological value, as well as art. That the cultural heritage is shared by a community and continues to progress through generations. In the flow of a tradition that also has its own identity by the country of Indonesia. Moving back to the original question, in which are we confessed that our identity is Indonesian and that our very existence or self-existence actually indicates that our identity is Indonesian, whereas our current generation has a limited interest in the traditional Indonesian culture, and that it affects a culture of Indonesia's heritage that could possibly die because it was not preserved. Indonesia itself is one of the countries that are famous for its diverse tribal culture, culturally established and handed down from one generation to another is a unique distinction. Data from the Cominfo itself attest that in Indonesia there are 478 nations. It is this unique asset that is important to the state of Indonesia and must be kept in existence because it is different, but it's still one. Ladies and gentlemen, however, it is the influence of globalization that has already entered Indonesia that has caused in the influx of foreign cultures that are out of harmony with the customs and culture of the nations. The development of globalization should have helped to more positive cultural introduction, but its function was abused. So it is not the generation that control globalization, but it is globalization that can control us all over again. Globalization has also affected younger generation, so that Indonesia's cultural sustainability is threatened with extinction during the present generation. From Sabang to the reality of the hundreds of different cultures in these parts of Indonesia, it is special. The cultural significance is not only in language but also in literature, buildings, art, dance, and tribal dress. But the problem lies where, despite all of the existing cultural forms, Indonesian people, especially the young, are more interested in foreign cultures. In fact, unconsciously, it could lead to the extinction of Indonesian culture. The younger generation, fascination with foreign cultures can indeed expand their knowledge. But when foreign cultural knowledge is more than Indonesian cultural itself, it will become an issue. When a younger generation becomes disinterested and forgets their culture, it becomes a threat to the country itself. Openly, the culture heal alone down to heal us. Identification and self-existence are a statement that describe the condition, and the two conditions walk in rhythm. Identity and existence are, in fact, a continuous combination and a close bond with one another. Our identity describes who and what we are, and may describe our background as a human being, an individual living in a community that also has a sense of identity. Whereas existence implies what our identity looks like. When we come to know who and what our identity should be, we can reflect both of our individuality and our very existence as humans. Individuals who also live in a community and have an introduction to identity expressed through a self existence. Where we come from, where we grow and we learn and process, where we determine our identity. Our generation is difficult generation to adapt to the powerful effects of globalization. But that does not mean the globalization and external influence make us forget, disown, indifferent, and ignore our true identity. Our motto is unity in diversity. Is different but still one, that is Indonesia, that is our true identity. Our identity is not from a foreign country, but our identity is from our own country, Indonesia. When we understand our identity well, then we can represent it in a big picture of our actual existence or existence. Therefore, identity and existence need to be kept in balance so that we understand perfectly well who we are. Therefore, our existence truly demonstrates the identity and diversity of Indonesia imbued within us. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not only Indonesia and its national cultural heritage. It is not only governments and their responsibilities, not just individuals and cultural heritage institutions, but identity and self-existence are all of our societies and the legacy of cultural wealth in Indonesia. You know the identity and existence of yourself and me as well as my identity and existence, which are an important part of Indonesia. If there is a word that is not clearly understood to be true, my apologies are as great as any. I'm Karin Sarceyani from Lentera Harapan Kupang High School. If you are Indonesian, you should say louder that you are Indonesian. Greetings, culture of salutations. Thank you.